It is forbidden to kill. Therefore, all murderers are punished, unless they kill in large numbers, and to the sound of trumpets. Voltaire. In the slowness of stats, I could see how helpless I was. I could attack, but I doubt I would live long enough to even splatter my own blood on Thorn. But at least I could run. It cost 2 action points to sprint, but I would be able to get more distance between them before they turned to shot us as well. Underbrush had hooked a hoof over my neck, probably to stop me from running to June when Thorn had struck her, making my choice easier. Hydrangea would not lose her mother if I could do anything about it. Selecting the option to sprint, a map with a green line and arrow at the end appeared in my vision to mark where I wanted to go. The map didn't have much detail to it, but it did tell me enough of what I needed to know. Selecting as far as it could go, I just ended around a corner, and entered the end button. Before time had even finished returning to normal, I'd already turned around and galloped away, dragging Underbrush with me. Each second was long, like time had sped back up. The sound of the gunshot had made my ears ring in protest, muffling my own hoofsteps to me. It was not until we rounded the corner that the cold stillness had broken once more with the sound of cracking thunder, drowning out a few seconds. There was no need to check to see with my own eyes. 5 security ponies were dead. They didn't stand a chance. Looking over to Underbrush, I could see in her eyes that she was in shock. I would have been too, but the time and sats had given me time to process what had happened. The only problem was that I had no idea what to do next. Other than running away, or how far could we get before we hit a dead end? Which ironically means we were going to die. We need to get moving. We have to hide. I pushed at her. She looked back at me. Her eyes had moved from shock to that of rage. No, they have power armor, which means they have EFS. They'll find us no matter where we go. I slumped. We were outnumbered and outgunned, and had no place to hide. There has to be some way, something that can help us. I still had some hope, but it was quickly failing me. I know you two are still here. Surrender now, and your life will be spared. Thorn's voice echoed. I knew it was a lie. That, or she had a fate worse for us. Underbrush had scratched her chin with her hoof before a wide grin formed on her. Slowly, she got herself ready to gallop, and waited for me to do the same. She didn't need to tell me to follow her. If she was going to do anything other than wait for them to come to us, I was going to do it too. Now! Underbrush jumped forward into a gallop. I did the same, but with a lot less grace. I hooved the ground with force, doing my best to keep up with her. For every turn we made, she was further ahead of me. I was almost out of energy when we stopped, panting heavily as I looked around. We could not have gotten far. The warehouse was large, but not that large. Stepping closer to Underbrush, my EFS went crazy. The compass would not stop turning, and the red and yellow bars were everywhere. Underbrush opened the side of a wooden crate, waving for me to follow her. It entered a small hidden room. It had a cooler box, an ashtray filled with cigarette butts, and a trash can that looked like it needed to be emptied out real soon. Can we hide here? With the EFS on the fritz here, it was a possibility, but I knew the answer was going to be a no. If only it would provide us a few minutes before they found us. No. We fight. Opening up the cooler box in her magic, she pulled out a soda bottle filled with clear liquid. We have the home field advantage, so we're going to use it. She ripped up a nearby cloth with her magic, shoved it into the bottle until the rag blocked up the plug. Flowtrot? She pointed to a ladder. I need you to climb 3 levels. There, look for the top of a stable door. When you find it, undo the cables holding it in place, and wait for me to call to you. Then push it. I slowly nodded, climbing up the ladder. The whole spot reminded me of the hidden base I had as a foal. So much cooler. It didn't take long to find the stable door. Well, the top of it. It was a whole heap of ropes holding the thing to the shelf. The 2 notes of paper hanging from the top rope. Do not touch the ropes. It took all day to get this thing standing up the last time it fell over. Why on Tartarus are we storing a stable door here in the first place? Whoever set this up here should be fired. I went to work undoing the ropes. Well, there you are, you cowardly traitor. I turned to see a Pegasus hovering in her insectoid-like armor, with a battle rifle pointed at me. I could see her lick her lips. Tell me where your friend is, and I'll make your death quick. The more time I could buy underbrush, the more likely she could stop Thorn. I don't know. We got separated? Think, damn it, think. But nothing came to mind. Nothing at all. Frozen, the mare was going to kill me. And there was nothing I could do about it. Wrong answer. But it doesn't matter. We'll find that bitch soon enough. Whoosh! A flaming bottle hit the side of the Pegasus's head, engulfing her in flames. She screamed as she crashed to the ground. Underbrush was there waiting for her. Crowbar and her magic. Found me. She swung the crowbar like a golf club. The Pegasus's muzzle made a loud, wet crack. Underbrush swung 2 more times, each time with the same wet crack. Taking the battle rifle from the Pegasus, she dragged the body in front of the stable door before running off. I spent a few seconds stunned. Underbrush scared me a bit there. Returning my attention to the ropes, I moved at a panicked pace. I was nearly done before I heard the sound of heavy steps on the floor. I had no doubt it was the other power-armored pony. Untying the last rope, I quickly jumped behind the stable door, laying as flat as possible before the light from the lamp found me. Come out, coward! Assholes were shouting at ponies armed with nothing but batons, and they called us cowards. My own anger was bubbling on the surface, only held in check by my fear of the walking tank. Zephyr! The loud hoof steps rushed closer to me, stopping just below. Fuckers! I'll make them pay for this! Slow trot, now! Underbrush's voice echoed as she yelled. I placed my forehooves on the stable door and pushed with my back legs. With a creak and a pop, the stable door slowly tipped over. I fell in behind it and the shelf as the big round gears kept moving forward. Oh, fuck! Wham! The sound of it was deafening. The shelf on the other side collapsed when the top of the stable door hit it on its way down, covering the whole area in parts. Looking down, the stable door was nearly flat on the ground, the number 512 clearly displayed. For a second I wondered if there were actually that many stables out there. Rubbing my ears, I looked over to see hyperventilating underbrush. I felt like doing the same, but whatever was interfering with my EFS was making me more paranoid, worrying me about the next Navy pony that might show up to finish us off. What's next? Underbrush shook her head and refocused to me. We need to seal the other stable and one of the others. The door to residential will be locked down, but I doubt it would take him that long to get past it. She pulled out a 10mm pistol and slid it over to me. Follow me. Quickly and silently as we could, we ran to security. In the distance was a large double door, larger than the stable door from before, but more like a normal door. Underbrush led me to a service door a little further away, so to avoid attracting the attention of the Navy ponies inside. Fuck, the system's locked. It'll only take me a few minutes to work around. Keep an eye out. Connecting her pip up to the terminal next to the door, she got to work tapping at the terminal. My eyes shifted around everywhere. Every shadow caused me to point a gun at it. Every little creak made me nearly press the trigger. Not that it mattered just yet. Underbrush showed me how to use the safety. So right now the gun wouldn't have gone off if the safety was turned on. Taking a deep breath, I put the gun down. With the Pip-Buck's magic, I could quickly get it back into fighting position if I needed to. But what I really needed was to calm down before I did something stupid. So, where did you learn to fight like that? You in the military? I kept my voice low. I only saw 2 power-armored ponies, but there could always be more, and I wanted to hear them coming first. Yes, actually. I was part of Celestia's Royal Guard for a spell. I was impressed. When I thought of the Royal Guards, I always thought about those spiffy stallions that never smile. So how'd you end up in Stable-Tec? Underbrush sighed. Things just changed. The Royal Guard were just the guards. Our training was top-notch, but it was all about protecting Equestria, not fighting wars. When we were called to war, I turned in my armor. It was not a popular thing to do. Most ponies thought it was disregardful. Didn't live long enough. Rough. That's rough. It's not that bad. Been a few years working in private security and patrolling what is now Zebra Town. That's where I met Zan. We ran away to start a family. So you weren't trained for war. Then what were you trained to do? The door popped open, and a wall of cool air hit the back of my head. You're talking about fighting? We were trained to fight monsters. Be creative on our hooves, ensure that all civilians are safe, and when possible, force the beast to flee back to its home. Now let's go, Slow Trot. We have a monster to fight, and a friend to avenge. As it turns out, the Royal Guard had two common ways of fighting. One was to move as a group, forming a wall of armored ponies. The second was to trick their opponent to expose themselves and strike at their weak points. But there were only two of us, and I was no fighter. But I did make good bait. Bang! The 10mm bullet harmlessly scraped across the armor of the Navy pony, but before they could counterattack, I was already out of their line of sight. Tactical stats was good enough for hit-and-run attacks, but too bad the 10mm pistol was not. Jumping for cover, I did my best to cover my ears as the two Navy ponies turned the corner to shoot at me. Bang! Bang! Looking over the box I had hidden behind, both Navy ponies were dead. Their brains no longer in their heads. Underbrush was on the side of the hallway, with a battle rifle resting on a box in her hooves. Are you okay, Underbrush? The thing was even louder than at the shooting range. She shook her head, then pulled out a small vial. Nothing that a little bit of healing potion can't fix. Pouring a drop in each ear, Underbrush took a deep breath and sighed. I think being a worried parent would pay off in firing rifles at the ponies. Looking down at the two ponies, they were beyond any help that a healing potion could do. No pony could fix dead. Looking at the bodies, my stomach finally gave up. After waiting for me to unload the cake I just ate earlier, Underbrush had me help loot the two bodies quickly. 2 10mm pistols, 2 battle rifles, along with 2 apple-like grenades. Didn't musket balls say that these battle rifles were not in use anymore? She affixed the Navy battle saddle onto me, placing the 2 extra rifles on either side. I didn't like the feeling of having guns attached to me, but I wasn't going to complain. The ground troops get all new guns. These rifles are probably the surplus that were given over to the Navy. Same for the Royal Guard. The guards that worked among the civilians would be given newer gear because it was more likely to get used. For the guards that worked in the palace had older equipment. The armor I actually had was actually over 100 years old. Older than me. But it was so well taken care of that you'd never know by looking at it. After cleaning it off, Underbrush placed the bit in my mouth. Now, let's get going before their friends show up. Taking most of the ammo, Underbrush led the way. We darted from one hiding spot to the next. Other than the noise from the battle saddles, I found myself a little bit better at sneaking than I thought I was. Our route avoided the main tunnel and would take us through the brig before we got near the room with a stable door. The whole area of the stable, reminded me of a few old police movies, where the police station was gray, solid, and a bit unfriendly. Stopping at the door, I saw 3 red lines on my EFS, and a ton of blue lines. I think they have ponies, some of our ponies in there. I don't know. They aren't hostile. Not yet. Underbrush pulled out a grenade. No, sorry. I mean, they're coming up blue in my EFS. Means they're listed as allies in my pip buck? She put the grenade away. Right. That is in more advanced programs. I'll have to do this the hard way. Blowtrot, use your stats and shoot the one on the left. I'll take the 2 on the right. I wanted to say no or ask to find another way to do this, but time was not on our side. Right. I'll do my best. Underbrush gave me a worried look. I'm sorry about this. I'll get you somewhere safe when get the stable door closed. She reached out to the door button with her hoof. Ready? She pressed the button, and the door opened with a soft hiss. Hey, Clapbang. About time you got here. We've been wet. Time slowed to a crawl, and 3 Navy ponies stood before us. They were all 3 cute mares. The one who was talking was a unicorn sea blue coat and a bright pink mane. The second was a pegasi with a grass green coat and a pale green mane with a red streak. The last was an earth pony with a cream white coat and a blonde and brown mane. The third was on my left, so I picked the chest to target twice, it being the most likely part to hit. Stats took over, moving my body to aim the surprised mare. The battle saddle meant that I just needed to be pointing in her direction before firing. The cracks of the rifle were deafening as 2 shots from each rifle fired at the mare, with only 3 bullets making contact. When time returned to its normal flow, I saw my target crumple to the ground, bleeding out. The 2 that underbrush shot were clearly dead, with part of their skulls gone. Before I knew what I was doing, I had run over the mare I shot. "So sorry. Underbrush! Is there a healing potion nearby?" The mare spat blood in my face, smiled with teeth covered in blood.
Don't start acting all innocent now, you traitors. You stripe lovers are all the same. Act all nice. In the end, you're still a traitor.
The mare gasped, her hoof trying to hook onto something, but avoiding me.
Papa, I did good, didn't I?
With that, she let out a long breath and passed out. Quickly looking around, I saw a box with the markings of the Ministry of Peace and galloped over there. Underbrush tackled me. "Slow trot. We don't have time for this." She paused to look over the mare I'd shot.
"And it's already too late to do anything."
I didn't struggle. I just let my body go, hoping that it would just melt into the floor. Too easy. Just too easy to do. Let me go. I just selected her, then I killed her. I could feel my whole body shaking and see my vision blur from water in my eyes. Just sit down, Slow Trot. I can handle everything from here. Underbrush held some keys in her magic. I need to check on them first. I was going to sit at the desk, but it was covered in blood from the unicorn mare, so I chose to sit under it. There was over a dozen security ponies. They were battered and bruised, but from how they were moving on, none of them seemed severely hurt. A mare burst into tears after Underbrush talked to her. The others looked right pissed. "We hit the armory. Then we sealed up the stable. That should stop any of the reinforcements." Stallion spoke up with a deep voice. "No, we don't have time," Underbrush said as she pushed a battle rifle into his hooves. "I'll take a team and hit the control room. You can use the guns we pick up. You and the rest can head to the armory. If we're lucky, they'll be too focused on me to see you coming." The other security ponies picked up the rifles, pistols, and grenades that were available, attaching on the battle saddles that they scavenged, placing ammunition where they could easily be hoofed to the guns. Underbrush had come over to get the guns from me, along with the battle saddle. "It's going to be okay, Slow Trot. Once we have the door closed, we'll come back for you. So just sit tight and stay hidden." I believed her. She was still far better than me than I was. This, reminding me about heroic tales of royal guards I was told as a colt. Thinking about it, I did the one thing I wanted to become one. But as the war grew, my belief in heroes shrank. Now looking at Underbrush as he organized others, I could feel a bit of belief in heroes returning. Now that she had her fellow security ponies with her, I knew they could pull this off. All I needed to do was sit tight and wait for them to return. Hiding until everything was over was easier to do than I thought it was going to be. Joining them would only slow them down. Security ponies knew more about fighting than I did, and they had all the guns and bullets now. For a simple pony like me, it was better to just get out of their way. Not long after they left, I turned on the radio that was on the desk and slid back under. The music was more from Sweetie Belle, singing a brilliant, sad, woeful melody, watching my own feelings. In this room was me and 3 corpses. One I shot myself. Down the hall was 2 more bodies that I acted as bait for a trap. Down the warehouse there was 2 power-armored ponies, both flattened by the stable door I pushed over. And along the main path was June and the security ponies. If only I'd remember sooner, they might be alive. The soft hiss of a door opening drew my attention away from the music. Remembering what happened to the last pony who spoke up when the door opened, I stayed quiet and hidden. My heart pounded heavily in my chest, threatening to give away that I was there. Though my heart did beat loudly, whoever entered the room was louder with each step. But it was strange. Each heavy step sounded similar to that of a steel ranger, but didn't have the same clop feel to it. I tried harder to concentrate on the sound, but the radio was drowning out any details. The radio was turned off. I held my breath. The sound of metal scratching along metal made my spine shiver in protest. A metal claw appeared in sight, slowly wrapping itself around the edge of the desk. I knew. I have been found. The desk was going to be flipped. I was going to be shot. All available troops. The stable ponies have mounted a counterattack at the stable door. Requesting reinforcements. Repeat. All available troops. The stable ponies have mounted a counterattack at the stable door. Request reinforcements. This is Talon Leo Thunderfeather. I'm on my way. The voice was deep and maniacal. You stay there, little pony. I'll be back for you later. The door hissed shut, and the room turned quiet. There was no sound but my own breathing. No sound, as I was still trying to hold back my own whimpering. Who was I trying to hide from? I was alone now. No pony would hear me scream, whimper, and cry. It was not the 3 corpses in the room, they were dead. The dead don't care, they're dead. I was the only pony I could hide it from. It was beyond stupid. Oh, you're going crazy. Opening my eyes, Thorn was sitting in front of me. She was younger. Looked different. You should really start breathing now. Unless you really want to die because you forgot how to breathe. Not something you want on your tombstone. I let out the breath. It only led me to hyperventilate. What? Gotta love pit bugs. So full of secrets. Probator thinks she knows so much, but she missed me every time. Then again, I am a trick pony. Always loved fooling others. I just had to hide in your soul, and she just fucked right on by. None the wiser. Looking closer, she did look like Thorn, but had the same jade streak in her hair that I had in mine, and her coat was more pinkish. Also, she was turning translucent. Ah, bloody hell. Time to go. To make a long story short, a piece of me, well, her, Thorn, is now a piece of you. Strange. Probator was so close to being right about what happened, but so very wrong. I stood up, hitting my head on the top of the desk I was under. Ow! What is going on? She was gone, but yet I knew she was still there. Almost forgot. You might want to help that security pony. You could die in the fight. I know you will die if you stay here. And well, I don't like the idea of waiting for a griffin to come back and kill me. Well, you? The room was quiet again. Nothing had changed. The 3 dead mares were here, so was I. But yet I felt calm. Scared shitless too. But I wasn't shaking or crying. I must be losing my mind even be considering the options. But consider them I did. So, that's it then. I can stay here and hope the underbrush wins. I can run and hide in the stable, hope that they don't look for me. Or I can try and help underbrush. 3 paths. Each one offered death. 2 involved me waiting for the dice to roll my fate. The last option was like playing roulette. But the wheel was a gun, the ball was a bullet, and the bet was my life. Fuck it. You win. Underbrush and the other security ponies had taken all the guns in the room. I only had my hooves and the pit buck. One can cave in a pony's head with a pit buck. I bonked my own head with the pit buck, pressing the murder pony in my head. With nothing left in the room but regrets, I pressed the button to the door, opening it with another hiss. Gunshots echoed throughout the halls, and between them were screams. This felt less like a safe stable and more like, if I could only guess, the battlefield. Yep, this was an insane mistake. I had not gone far before slipping on some poor pony's blood. There was no body to tell if it was security or a navy pony that died, but there was a bunch of bloody hoof steps leading in one direction. Among the hoof steps was a pattern distinctly not a hoof print, and taking a route up a nearby flight of stairs. Checking my pip buck, it gave me 3 routes to take to get to the stable door. One taking me to the main tunnel, something we were avoiding. Second was the same direction the hoof prints went. The last going up the stairs. It being an easy guess with the hoof prints, paw prints, belonging to Leo. I knew Underbrush could take care of herself, far better than I could take care of myself. But that griffin, had to be a griffin, was going to be a problem. Just knew it. Definitely insane. I took the stairs, hoping I didn't just make a big mistake. The cracking of rifles and the pops of pistols only grew louder as I got closer to where the stable door was. Much of the noise came through an open doorway, along with the feeling of fresh, damp air. The air in the stable was clean, cleaner than the air in Applewood, but it also happened to be dry and stale. Taking a peek, as I was not so suicidal as to just jump into a gunfight, I saw the biggest Metal Gear in my life. The door to the R&D stable was far larger than that of one that I pushed over in the warehouse, big enough that a pony could drive a tank through it. A large group of Navy ponies were all over the ground floor, firing at Underbrush's group, keeping her from getting to what I guessed was the control room. Looking over the balcony was a griffin completely encased in black painted power armor, holding a minigun to hers claws. Underbrush may be able to avoid shots from the Navy ponies, but not from Leo. From the griffin's position, Underbrush and the 2 security ponies would not last long. Looking around for a solution, nothing presented itself to me. The griffin placed the machine gun on the rail, and its motor revved up. I hit Sats, hoping this time I could do something. Checking each option quickly, I knew time was still moving. Most options came at best 15%, at worst 5%. Don't think about hitting to solve the problem. The area behind my kneecap lit up on the griffin. Because you'll not. But you can make the fight more chaotic with one well-placed strike. The murder pony in my head did not make me feel any more confident. But if there was a pony who could turn the situation around, it was... You can think of names later. Right. Luckily, the griffin was close enough for me to perform a Navy buck on it. Time slowly crowed back to normal, as my body moved with a strength I doubt I could do on my own. Minigun fired just before I made contact. It sounded like a chainsaw on magical rocket fuel. My hooves hit the back of the griffin's kneecap, pain shooting up my back legs in protest of kicking the steel-clad griffin. As the griffin fell to one knee, the minigun didn't stop firing. The griffin did lose its grip on one claw. Unable to hold on with just one claw, the minigun turned downwards, raining bullets onto any pony on the ground floor for a short few seconds before the griffin dropped it. Big mistake. I could feel the anger from the maniacal voice of the griffin's helmet. Which leg do you want me to pull off first? A bullet ricocheted off the griffin's helmet, but Leo didn't even pay attention. Slowly stepping over me, I hit the wall, backing up. Another bullet hit the back of Leo's helmet. Then another bullet hit the shoulder of the griffin's armor. Griffin loomed over me, a claw in the air. Ready to die, pony? I don't think I am. I turned Sats back on. If I was going to live through this, I was going to be smart about it. I say go crazy. The griffin has grenades. Pull the pins. In Sats, I selected the pins of 2 grenades in the levitation, and to run away. When time resumed, the pins floated out between the 2 of us for a split second before my body bolted off. Boom! I tumbled from the shockwave, rolling over hoof overhead until I slid to a stop. Taking a moment to catch my breath, I got back on all fours, my body still hurting all over. It was something I would have to remember, that I would need to run faster next time I set off a grenade like that. Not good enough, little pony. Leo still stood there, unfazed by the explosion. Oh, fuck me with Celestia's solar-powered horn! Griffin's going to kill me. Another bullet hit the griffin, but this time Leo stumbled a little. A buzzing noise came from his armor. Now die! He growled. Before I could even blink, Leo had pulled out a pistol and shot me. My left shoulder exploded in pain. I didn't scream or whimper. I just slumped over on the ground. I wasn't dead, but had never been shot before. That Tartarus had hurt like hell. Stunned by the pain, I just stayed on the ground.
I'd say sorry, little pony, but you made this personal.
Fuck! I opened my eyes, having to wipe some water out of them before I could see properly. Leo was gone, which meant I might live. Checking myself, the bullet had hit me in the shoulder. Blood was pouring out slowly, bit by bit. Hurt like nothing I'd ever felt before. And though there were times I had hurt more, that was for a split second. This pain was not going away anytime soon. The gun battle was still going on, and taking a look, I'd see the security ponies had joined the battle, pushing back the Navy ponies. But the Navy ponies also had reinforcements, turning the stable doorway into a battle line. The room was suddenly bathed in yellow flashing lights, the hiss of steam and a loud buzz going on and off, drowning out all the gunshots. The stable door moved, and a Navy pony still inside the stable fled outside. One unlucky pony tripped, and was crushed by the massive door like he was nothing. In place, the stable door completely blocked the fight from continuing, filling the house with uneasy quiet. For a few seconds, with the sound of something powering up, the door pushed itself shut with the sound of metal grinding on metal. It was done. The stable had been sealed. I tried to get myself back up on all fours. My bullet wound spiked in pain whenever I moved my left leg, and the pain from the grenade blast didn't help. So I slumped back on the cold metal ground. It felt solid and safe, so I just closed my eyes and took a little nap. My eyes shot open with pain, and a bottle was shoved in my mouth. Above me was a yellow unicorn stallion and security guarding. Kid, that was a real dumb stunt you pulled there, and I'd hug you for it, if I didn't think that you might have a collapsed lung. Much of the pain faded away, though the bullet wound still hurt. The pain was far from more dull. The stallion helped me up. After a few steps, I felt good enough to move my own. Healing potions were awesome. So, is everyone okay? The stallion sighed. We lost nearly half of us in that fight of fire alone. Those military ponies were damn good shots. If the fight lasted any longer than it did, we'd all be dead. We were heading to the control room, from what I could guess. I didn't know the stable as well as they did, but we hadn't gone downstairs. So was Underbrush okay? I heard she got hit, but it wasn't so bad to keep her from fighting. She should be just around the corner. Around the corner, I saw blood splatter everywhere. There were a few dead Navy ponies on the floor, and one security pony. I stopped when I saw a severed leg on the ground. It was mangled at the end where it came off, and still had a few clean patches of powder blue coat on it. It was Underbrush's leg. Bolting further in, I saw two security ponies, frantically bandaging up another pony. It was Underbrush. One of her back legs were gone, as well as the other back hoof. From the looks of her bandages, she had taken other injuries that looked far worse than mine. Oh no. Oh no 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 no. Underbrush smiled when she saw me. Good to see that girl didn't kill you. But damn, I want some power armor now. Damn bird didn't die, even after I shot him in the head 3 times. That was her. Of course that was her. Are you going to be okay? Oh no. Use that pit buck there and tell me. She coughed up blood. It oozed from her mouth. I put my left hoof gently on her and activated the medical scan. When it was done, I looked at the pit buck. The screen from the pit buck turned into a wall of text. A lot of words I didn't understand. Probably about inside pony parts. But I did understand one thing the pit buck was telling me. Immediate surgery is required, or patient will die. I looked at the other security ponies. 2 more had joined us. We need to get to her doctor now, or she's going to die. The yellow stallion sighed again. I can see that. Magic from his horn lit up and levitated a healing potion into Underbrush's mouth. The problem is that I doubt we can move her. Damn soldiers busted up our radio. We're going to need a pony to go get a doctor for us. Right. Life Beats should still be in residential. I'll go get him. Hey, wait now. I didn't mean you go get a doctor. You don't even work here. I didn't feel like listening. Not with underbrush coughing up blood. I'm the Stable-Tec R&D courier, and we don't have time to waste. I was off, bolting down the hall. So careless with my steps, I more slid down the stairs than ran. I didn't have time to worry about my own safety. I'd galloped far faster than I'd ever ran before. My lungs burned in protest, but they didn't give a say in the matter. It wasn't until I got to where everything went wrong that I stopped a moment. 6 ponies were on the floor, in a pool of blood. 5 security ponies, and June. My anger began to boil then, when I saw Thorn had done to her. June's left foreleg had been cut off, and left on the ground mutilated. Her pit buck was missing. I didn't have time to cry or swear vengeance. There was a life that could still be saved, and the longer I stalled, the less likely underbrush was going to survive. Galloping around the pool of blood, I made my way to residential. I could only hope Thorn hadn't started killing everyone inside. Footnote. Quest started. End of time. Level up. Level 2. New perk. Hi-ho Silver. Away. You're a fan of cardio and sprints, especially if said sprints are done away from the direction when bullets are flying. Your ground movement speed is increased by 10% in light armor. This perk can be taken up to 2 times, and its effects stack with other movement speed increase perks. Does not affect other forms of movement.